Hello.
Hello, welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 194.
Yep. It is February the 16th, 2014. I'm
Yep.
Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And Laura's a little echoey today because she's in her brand new house.
I am. I'm in what is going to become the studio room. So right now it's an empty room with paint that's going on walls.
Yeah. So it's empty, that's why it's echoey. It won't be that way forever.
That's true. There will be lots of fiber moving in.
And that's a very sound absorbing sort of material.
It is. And a rug and all sorts of things that are currently in the garage.
So it's been a week. Do you want to go first, or would you like me to?
Sure, I can go first. I'm at the end of the row. So I am on the second of my Vesper gemstone socks. Here's the first. So there is an afterthought heel that's going to go in. It is not yet. That is placed right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is around 5 inches tall. And that's about it. It's Vesper yarns, so Knitterly Things Vesper in the gemstone colorway, knit on size 1, 2.25 needles. I'm enjoying working with the yarn. It is my carry around knitting, so there'll be a lot more work done on this week at knit night for sure. So that's my mobile knitting that I can take with me places, which is always good. And then my other non-mobile knitting, which it can be somewhat mobile, but not really, is Glitz at the Ritz by Helen Stewart, which I am supposed to be doing for my Olympic knitting, but since I haven't watched any of the Olympics, because my cable's not working, it's kind of going slowly. So it's got 4 repeats done.
It's pretty.
Thank you. And there are 3 more to go of this beaded section, and then there's a garter section, and then there's like a mesh beaded section. So it'll get there. I'm using Made in America yarns, the Wayfarer colorway. My beads I'm using Super Floss method to put on. So you can see there's the pointy end, the flossy, which is not super flossy middle bit, and then I tied this in a knot. The big long end has a knot right there so that the beads can't go off. So that's about it for that. The beads I'm using are size 6 Dynamites that I bought at my local beads yarn store, knitting store, before they went out of business. So I have 80 grams total, which I won't need nearly that many at all. And I'm knitting that on my signature size 6 needles. Actually, the convertibles.
Fancy.
Yep.
Do those ever come loose on you? I have one pair, but I don't use them very much.
They have, but usually, I can feel them. They'll get to that point. And I can, there's that gap. There's never a point where they've just come right off. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just wondered, because the shaft with the threading for the signatures is shorter than it is on a lot of other needles, and that's not necessarily a negative. It's just an observation.
Yeah.
So I wondered if you've ever had that problem.
Not really. By the time I untwist once, this isn't going any place.
Yeah.
And the yarn's going to catch right there. Okay. So it's oh, hey, got to tighten that. So, and it happens more on my 4s than my 6s. I also knit more with my 4s than my 6s.
And that's the cranberry bog color of
it is.
Wayfarer.
Yep. So Made in America yarns is just like the yarn name says, Made in America. It's milled in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and dyed by my brother-in-law and a bunch of other people.
Scary guy with tattoos and piercings.
And then sent for distribution by my sister. So they work at the mill that mills that actually they don't mill the actual yarn, they add the twist and dye. I'm pretty sure. So
Fancy.
that's it for me for knitting.
Okay, well, I only have one active thing that I'm really working on, and that is the Magic Cake Ruffle shawl. Pull up a picture. I'm going to the Knitting Pipeline retreat in March, and I thought I should probably have one of Paula's designs. I thought it would be cute to have one of her designs. Oh, it's on my phone, not on here. And even though I've knit the Piper's Journey, I've been wanting to knit this one, the Magic Cake Ruffle shawl. So I just decided I would go ahead and make it. And let me get you a good picture of it.
Cool. And you had a magic cake.
I did. Laura made me a magic cake and brought it up with her at Christmas. So this is what it looks like. It's made with leftovers. It is a top-down triangular shawl with increases on every row. And I'm using the cake that Laura made me. I don't know what any of the yarn is.
There is some...
It's okay.
Yeah, there's lots of different things. Right now what you're knitting with is Yarn Pirate.
It's all jewelly toned for the most part. It's all for the most part. It's mostly jewel toned yarns, with the exception of the second one, which was just white and black. So I started this last night. I've been having a little bit of a Gilmore Girls marathon. So I started with the green and then did the garter part for the black and white, the solid stockinette. Now I'm starting another section of garter. And I'm using my 4.0 millimeter US size 6 Addy clicks with the lace tips.
Cool.
And this is very brainless, super brainless knitting. It's very easy. I didn't even have to go through the trouble of making the cake because it was already made for me. Because Laura is my bestie and made it for me.
And Paula, in the directions, the actual pattern for the knitting goes through how to make the cakes.
Right. So the pattern is $5, I think. And when you buy the pattern, it shows you everything from how to pick, you know, what order they go in, to how to join the different colors, how to decide what sections you want in garter versus stockinette. It's very comprehensive. So you definitely get your money's worth. And I love that you can use little leftover bits. Like, everybody has the leftover bits. So, yeah. So I'm happy. I just started it last night, and it's a very simple thing. The next thing that I'm going to cast on are some socks, some sport weight socks. I showed you guys this last week.
Humberto's up against the power strip, and I'm like, Kat, if you turn that off, we're going to have words.
This is 100% superwash merino, so there's no nylon in it, but they'll be sport weight socks, so they'll probably be worn around the house more than anything else. This is Ruffle Ambiente in the, I don't know, bunch of numbers colorway. And I'm using my knit winch bag, which is very cool. Very well made, and that is Lisa something. Yeah, Lisa Zingstein.
Cool.
And she has a Etsy shop. It's Knit Winch. Sorry, that's blurring out for some reason. But just search Knit Winch on Etsy. And that's all that I'm working on.
Cool. Well, you have an FO, so why don't you talk about that?
I do. So I spun for what was originally the Less is More cardigan, which is a pattern on Knitty. But I decided before I even spun it that I was going to make it into a pullover, but I was essentially still going to follow the pattern, the Less is More pattern. So I picked out 6 braids of fiber that all had similar color families, and then I spun them. And when I started, I decided I was going to add a split collar.
Which came out wonderful.
If I did it again, I'd probably add short row, so it's not quite as bulky right here, but I'm fine with it. So I just sort of made up this part, and then I kind of used Shell Seeker by Heidi Kermayer for increases, and then after that I just kind of did my own thing, because whatever. I've made a lot of sweaters, and some of them have fit, so I kind of know what I need. And I was going to add a pocket, but I ended up liking the way that it looked so much that I didn't add a pocket. And I'm going to insert some video right here. Hope you enjoy that. And so I have a ton left over. Like I only used, this was just color 1 and 2, color 2 and 3, and then part of the ball for color 3 and 4. Oh, it's over there. I'm not going over and getting it. So anyway, I've got color 5 and 6. I'm sorry, color 4 and 5, color 5 and 6, and then just color 6. So I've still got 288, 277, so that's almost 600. So about 700 yards left. So still have plenty of yarn. So I might do like a huge shawl or...
That'd be awesome.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but the colors are all similar. They're all kind of autumny.
Yeah.
So I still have a ton left.
You could do a Mara shawl.
Which is good because I just wanted to... I didn't want to run out, but also I spun a lot and still had a lot left over. Anyway, so I'm very happy with the way that it looks. I'll take it with me to the pipeliner retreat. And I don't know what my next sweater is going to be yet. I haven't decided. Do you know what your next sweater is going to be?
Less is more.
Oh, duh. Yeah, you're spitting for that. Okay, anyway, so off to you. You have some FOs.
I do. I have 2 pairs of baby booties for a baby shower that was supposed to be Wednesday, but we had inclement weather. So the mom-to-be specifically asked for booties, so that is what she is getting. The first pair, I still need to find buttons for. I bought like $30 worth of buttons at Joann's, and none of them quite, like the I-cord is a little bit too big to work with smaller buttons, so I'm going to raid my button box, which is actually still at my parents' house. So I'm going to go down there and grab some buttons. These 2 little booties are the Tiny Shoes pattern by Ysolda Teague. The first one came out fine, and for some reason I really struggled getting the second one correct to match, and it's still maybe a row bigger, but not. I've blocked these, but not horribly so. So, Tiny Shoes. They'd be cuter if I stuffed them with stuff, and I think I will for the shower. They've got a cute, like, increased detail, yarn over detail.
Oh, right at the eyelet rose, yeah.
Yep, right at the tip. And she specifically asked for Mary Jane style booties. And then the second pattern I used, and this was, I'm sorry, let me give you details. So Tiny Shoes by Ysolda Teague. This is Luette Gems that has been wound and probably in my stash since 2007. So I got to use a little bit of that up, and size 2 needles. So they went fairly quickly, like 2 episodes of NCIS, because I've been mainlining that recently. I'm on season 3. I'm watching them all in order. And my local library has them, so I haven't had to, they have through season 4. But it's so funny, like they'll have, so for season 3 they had disc 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, because someone borrowed disc 3 and lost it. So I'm going to buy them on Amazon later and just buy those 4 episodes, which actually is going to cost me about what the season would be to buy. Because the season to buy is like $18. But anyway, I'm diverging. Like usual, the second booties I made, and this is a paid for pattern, and it's in her first book that she made, Whimsical Little Knits. Whimsical Little Knits, thank you. And then the second pattern is also a paid for pattern. I think it was $3 or $4, and you can either do this style, which is like a traditional style, or you can do a Mary Jane on these as well, but I wanted something a little bit different. These are the Evie Pants AIO booty pattern out of Lorna's Laces Worsted. They are knit on size 6 needles. You start with the sole, and both of these were seamless knits. I didn't have to seam. And then work your way up from that garter sole, pick up all around, the way around, and knit in the round. So I like these. I think they're super cute. And I think they'll stay on because you can always pop them up too.
Yeah. They seem a little less fiddly than the other ones. I mean, the other ones are super cute too, but...
Yeah, so, well, it was nice to do something. Like, I got both these done in 2 episodes. So it was nice to do something that went a little bit faster, because size 6 needles obviously is going to go a little bit faster than size 2. So that is my shower present to her. They are done. They used up stash yarn.
Even better.
This was actually leftovers from a hat that I designed that Juicy Bugs wore.
Yeah.
What is the name of that hat? I'll think of it later. So... that is it for me for FOs.
But you have
I did do some spinning. So I plied, and this has not been soaked or thwacked, but I did ply the Moonshine, and it is much prettier in person. It's got a lot of silver and some glitter to it. And this is Frankenstein's Monster. Like I said, it hasn't been soaked and thwacked, so I'm going to do that tonight. I did over twist it. I overspun it a good bit. I'm hoping that, I mean, it's not crunchy or anything, but it's definitely had a good bit of twist added in the ply. I was packing my bobbin and really could not get the last like 50 yards to fit, but I would stop and hand wind it on.
I do that sometimes if I just have a little bit left, because the shocked bobbins are only they're only made for 3.5 ounces, but when you ply 2 together, sometimes it gets so full that I'll treadle and let the twist go up, and then I'll hand wind, and then I'll treadle and let the twist go up.
I think the Lundgren bobbins are even smaller. You can see they're smaller than the shocked bobbins.
Yeah.
So I really feel like they're only made really for 3 ounces. I always struggle plying on them, so I don't think I'm going to continue plying on my Lundgren. I think I'm going to, unless I switch over to a plying head, which it came with a separate plying head. Anyway, I also spun the first 2 ounces of my Less is More cardigan. This is, everything I'm spinning for it is superwash merino. And the first 8 ounces is Puppy Dog Tails by Southern Cross Fiber. I'm going to use 4 ounces. I'm going to spin all 8 ounces, 2 on each bobbin, and then combine the 2 bobbins that are similar in weight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then do the other 2. I can't find my spinner's control card, which is driving me a little bit batty, but I do have the iPhone app, which is like Spinner's Toolkit, something like that. I'll put it in the show notes. So I've been using that, but I've also been playing a good bit too. So I'm going to do 4 ounces up here, and then I think 4 ounces down here. I don't think I want to do all 8 ounces, because then it would go all the way down.
So you have 8 ounces of this color is what you're saying?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Because Jessica's nice. I originally just had 4, and Jessica sent me her 4.
That's sweet.
That I would have 8. She's sweet. Mine is primarily blues. So, and I showed most of it when it's all in my Spin the Bin, which I still have to formally announce, but I've taken pictures of everything. So I just have to find time to get it up. Hey, Humberto. So that's about it for me for spinning. I washed a little bit of fleece this morning. I have a CVM dark colored fleece that I got back in October that I'm slowly washing, and then once it's dry, I card and spin just a little bit. I've spun probably 10 grams of a 5-pound fleece. So it's getting there. I'm definitely in the market for a drum carder so that I'm not hand carding everything, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's part of a bigger plan we'll talk about later. I don't have any spinning this week, but I did wanted to talk about, because for our Expand Your Horizons, February is 4-ply.
Yeah.
And so one of the ways that you can do a 4-ply I have done before, so I wanted to show you guys that. And if you've watched the show before, you've seen it. Well, if you watched the episode where I spun this, you've seen it. And I don't remember what that episode was because I'm a poorly planned podcaster. Anyway, this is Keegan Lane, and I got this in the Trifecta of Awesome Club. I think it was the second or third round. I can't remember. My significant other is putting dishes away, making lots of noise, but he's putting dishes away, so I'm not going to complain.
But can you find them later is the real
Yeah,
question.
I know. There's always a game. Where did you put this? But, so this is a 4-ply, and I'm going to just take one section and show you guys. So, I split this 4 ounces into equal 1 ounce sections, and then I took each ounce and spun it in the S direction, so clockwise. My wheel was going clockwise. So 4 individual bobbins with 1 ounce each on them. And then I took 2 bobbins and plied them in the Z direction, which is counterclockwise, and tried to put a little bit of extra twist in the plied yarn. So I had 2 bobbins with plied 2 ounces on them and 2 ply. And then I took them and plied them again in the S direction. The two plies, I plied them together. So if you look here, it just looks kind of like a chain link. But if I take some of the twist out, you can see that there are 2 separate individual yarns. So the top one has 2 ply with the blue and the pink, and the bottom is another 2 ply with the green and the pink. And they're plied together, and it makes it look like a cable. It's very rounded. I would like to do another 4-ply where I ply all 4 at the same time in the same direction.
So that was a cable 2x2.
Right, but it's 4 total plies.
Yeah, it's 4 total plies, but it's a cable 2x2.
So I would like to do a full 4-ply with all of the plies going in the same direction, so it's one really rounded yarn. I don't know that I'll get to it in February, but I'm going to try. And this, I don't even remember the yardage. It was like 100 and something yards, and it's of a bulky for sure. And I enjoyed spinning it. I enjoyed the experiment. So
cool.
That's the 4-ply that I have to show. We have a question.
We do. It is from Knit Today, and it said, I heard from your episodes that both of you have Hansen mini spinners as well as traditional spinning wheels. How do you decide which you're going to use for a particular fiber? The mini spinner or a wheel? What is that crucial factor?
Well, I haven't had my mini spinner as long as Laura, so Laura may have more evolved and accurate reasons for choosing the mini spinner when she uses it. For the most part, I tend to use the mini spinner to ply just because it's got a much bigger bobbin, and I can fit 4 ounces on it with no problem. Or if I'm going to be spinning a really fine silk, which I don't do very often, but I have such good tension and speed control on the mini spinner that it makes it a little bit easier to spin the silk for me, or anything really, really fine and slippery, like maybe even Rambouillet might count for that. The only other factor that really plays into whether or not I'm going to use the mini spinner is how lazy am I feeling. Like, I can sit in bed and spin on the mini spinner. Right now, I have the mini spinner on loan out to a friend of mine who wanted to play with it before she decided if she wanted one. And it's actually been really good because it's forced me to get up and use my other wheels, which, Michael bought me the Matchless several years ago, and sometimes it gets neglected for the newer, shinier toys. So it's been nice to sort of get to know them. I will say long draw for me is easier on a traditional style wheel, where I don't need a separate hand to adjust the speed or the tension. What about you? What do you think?
So for me, when I use my mini spinner, I always use an orifice reducer on it for the most part. The mini spinner does have a very large orifice, so if I'm doing something that's super bulky, I tend to go to my mini spinner just because I know it'll fit through the orifice. I also can control the speed more, so I might not be able to treadle as slow as I can set the mini spinner to go. So I can be adding a lot less twist. So that's one time when I use the mini spinner. One time that I do not use the mini spinner is for long draw. I don't like how it takes in. I don't feel like it's meant to do a whole, and this is just me personally. This is not coming from Hanson at all, but I don't like the draw in on the mini spinner when I try to get all of it to go in at once. Like, I go way back when I long draw. And so I have a good 1.5 yards, 2 yards that have to go on the bobbin at one time. And for me, it doesn't pull in the way I can kind of control more on a traditional wheel. Another time when I use the mini spinner is when I'm spinning a big project all at once. My mini spinner bobbins can fit up to 8 ounces.
Right.
So I can put like a pound worth of singles on 2 bobbins, which really works well, or for plying. Another time that I do not use the mini spinner is when I want to do some very technical spinning. Because the mini spinner, there's no way to tell what your ratios are. Like, you can see where the knob is, but there's no, hey, this is a 16 to 1 ratio. So if I'm trying to do some very technical spinning, like when I took a class with, what was her name? I can't even remember now. Down in Jackson, and we were doing very technical spinning where she wanted us to write down our ratio and our twist angle and everything for what we were doing. That would have been a lot harder on the mini spinner. Another time when I use the mini spinner is when I'm traveling, because I can fit my mini spinner and a lot of accessories, including the anchor bobbins now, are fairly small, and I have a bunch of them for the mini spinner. I can fit all that in like a small carry-on bag. So the mini spinner can actually go on a plane with me. It can go, in the back seat of a car, no problem. Even on the floorboards in a car, no problem. So it's a little bit more portable. And it's not advertising the fact that I'm spinning, that equipment's in the car. Trying to think what else. I spin very fine on the mini spinner. I have the lace flyer, so I can go super fine. The 800 yards of 2-ply I got over the summer was out of 4 ounces was spun on the mini spinner. So I can go super fine, and you can keep that. You're ruling out one of the inconsistencies in your spinning. Because sometimes, I'll be watching NCIS and something's happening, and I start treadling faster.
Yeah.
But with the mini spinner, that can rule out, because the knob's not really changing, that can rule out one of the things that can cause inconsistency in your singles. So definitely if you have knee problems or are more of a production person, I think it's definitely worth looking into. But you use it for different things.
In a tiny apartment in a very busy city,
space
is of the essence. I mean, you could fit this in a cabinet. It doesn't take up much space. It
does not take up much space at all. It can fit in a drawer, really.
Yeah.
Half a drawer.
You must have very big drawers.
That would totally fit in one of my dresser drawers.
A dresser, okay. I'm thinking kitchen.
No, not kitchen drawers. That'd be silly. So I think that's about it. I mean, feel free to contradict me. Other people might have other things that work better for them.
Everybody has their own prerogative, so.
Oh, yeah. But that's just things to think about. Also, long staple fibers can be interesting. But I haven't done enough of that to really comment a whole ton on. We do have a book review, which is Once Upon a Knit by Genevieve Miller.
Yep.
It looks like this. This is the chick who also wrote, I shouldn't say chick.
I just laughed when you said that. I was like, oh, God.
This is the woman who also authored Vampire Knits and contributed to Knits for Nerds. So she's got definitely the experience there. She's written for Pottercraft before. The book retails for $19.99 US, $22.95 Canadian. Pottercraft did send this to us to review, so thank you, Pottercraft.
Yes,
all the knits in here, they're a good bit. There's 28.
Yeah, so
Grim and glorious fairy tale projects.
So they all relate back to a fairy tale, and most of them, as soon as you see the knit, you know what the fairy tale is. So there's the cover project, which is the hood, which is knit in a worsted weight.
I like this knit. I think it's very pretty, but I just don't know. This goes back to the discussion we had with Harry Potter knits. I don't know where I would wear that.
I think that this would be really good for, I don't know if there's a fairy tale version of cosplay. Like, I guess maybe like costumes or something for children might come into that. I'm sure that there's an application for it. I don't know. Some of the patterns could stand alone. Like, I think the huntsman's gloves
I like the huntsman a lot.
Is perfectly fine for everyday wear. There's nothing.
And then there's gloves that go with that, and that's knit out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. And that's like a worsted weight on size 8 needles, and there's the gloves as well. So that's a guy-friendly knit. It's pretty simplistic in appearance, so I can see a lot of guys actually wearing it.
Yeah.
Definitely the colors they chose were appropriate. I like the ballerina tutu and wand because I can see my nieces wearing it.
Yeah, and there's an application for that thick ribbon yarn that was crazy a year or so ago.
And that uses Knit Picks Gloss Decay and Crystal Palace Tutu.
Which I think I actually have a skein of.
And it actually goes into pictures of how to knit that style yarn. So that's great as well. I like the Jack and the Bean socks. Again, Knit Picks. Very cable-y.
Yep, Bobblicious.
Yep. You could always replace bobbles with something else if you're not a bobble fan.
Yeah. I don't care how much of a geek it makes me. I kind of dig the Woodland Friends hat. It makes me think of the young girls over in Japan and how they do all the Hello Kitty stuff. I don't know, for some reason that reminds me of that. I think it's cute.
I like the Siren Shawl, which uses Tasha Merino Light.
There is a Snow White shrug, which looks like a really simple thing that, a teen would wear in the summer.
There's the Charming cardigan, which is interesting. The chest measurements go from 36 up to 48. And I like the zipper insert. I think the cables I would probably put them all the way up, maybe.
Yeah, they do tend to stop abruptly, or they do look like they stop a little abruptly.
But I enjoy the fact that there's a lot of guy knits in this book. It's just not all girls knits. And this was actually inspired by the leather jacket worn by Prince Charming in Once Upon a Time. So I like the fact that they do give background as to what inspired the knits.
I like the Cinderella playset. I think that's very cute. I love the rainbow dress and the little mouse.
Do you like the little mouse? It's very cute. And it comes in a pumpkin bag that you put it in.
Yeah, it's all in a little pumpkin carriage.
The proper princess topper is cute. The little girl looks so unhappy.
She does. She looks very annoyed to be wearing that hat.
But the photography in this book is very clear. You get clear representations of the projects. There's usually 1 to 2 pictures, at least 2 pictures, including like an inside shot so you can kind of see what's going on. There's fairy facts and little quizzes throughout the book. It's just, if you're into fairy tales, it is a very cute little book.
Yeah, I think the Maleficent shrug is pretty. Nice deep green. I think they did that well. There's a better picture of the lace.
I like the chainmail hoodie, which is primarily a child's pattern, although it does go into some smaller women's sizes. It just looks like a good throw-over type hoodie, and it's knit on a very large gauge. It's knit out of Lamb's Pride Superwash Bulky on size 10.5 needles, so it would be a quick knit.
I like that they're showing a girl with the sword. It's not just a princess. A girl can be more than just a princess. I like that.
I agree.
And then this crazy dragon just makes me laugh at how tiny his head is and how huge his body is. I think it's perfect. I love it. He's got a little garter stitch belly. I think he's a wonderful little softie.
I like the little apple pot holder. Like, I could see doing that as a dishcloth.
Yeah.
It's very cute. That one's out of wool, but definitely you could switch it to cotton.
And it does also have, in the back, it's got some basic stuff to get you started. How to do a 3-needle bind-off, cabling, special stitches like the knitted cast-on, how to do embroidery, just a little bit. I wouldn't say you could pick this book up and immediately start knitting. You do need some knitting knowledge, but I think it's got a nice collection of some clever ideas.
Definitely, and there's some names that you're going to find familiar, like Tanis Gray contributed to this.
Yeah, and I know that Genevieve Miller, who did put the collection together, she also designed several of the things in here. So I think that if it's a genre that you're into, this is definitely a book that you want to grab. So it's
definitely.
Once Upon a Knit, put out by Pottercraft again. It's $19.99 US, $22.95 Canadian. I don't believe there's a digital version at this time. It's just... It
says it's also available as an ebook on the back.
Oh, wonderful. Laura read ahead. Right there.
I can read some days. So favorite things.
I have a favorite thing to talk about. So Gwen, who is the lady who decided to take me up on my surrogate knitter project for the Viajante, which is how you say it in Portuguese. I don't know that that's the right language, but anyway, she has just been powering through it like crazy. So she works as an art conservator outside of DC, and she sends me pictures with the shawl every day with like a new beautiful priceless piece of artwork. And it's wonderful because I'm learning a lot about art, because I have a Mississippi education. Art is one of the first things that got cut, so I never really got exposed to that. So apparently she was on the lace border and realized there was something got off. You know, when it's that knit two together, yarn over, knit two together forever and ever and ever and ever. And if you miss one, it starts slanting the other way.
Yeah, it does.
And so I guess something happened, and it started slanting the other way, and she fixed it, but then a couple rows further on, she realized it looked weird. And I told her it was fine, I could live with it. But she describes herself as a Crasian, and decided that she could not live with it. So instead of ripping back, she ripped down.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's see, I have a better picture of it somewhere. Well, she says it's better. I can't tell what's going on in this picture as much as I could the other one. But this one, I was just like, oh, okay. That makes me a little nervous, but, you know. So, yeah, she was dropping down just a section to fix that section. And, you know.
She's braver than I am.
Yeah, I mean, I trust her. I'm sure that it'll get done, but... Whew, I would have probably just left it and just moved on with my life. Not gonna lie. So I'm excited because I'm probably going to get to hang out with her next weekend because she's coming this way. So
cool.
I might get to hang out with her along with Sharon and Dorian and Amy, Carpe Cakem.
Oh, that'll be so much fun.
Yeah. So I'm excited because I haven't hung out with anybody for like a month, and I'm starting to get like cabin fever. So I'm excited that I get to go and hang out with my friends like a grown up. Anyway, purchases. You got a fleece this week. Do you have any of it to show?
No, it's all the way over there.
All right, well, I gotta talk again for a minute because I haven't bought a lot of stuff lately because whenever I think about buying, I think about this, and that a lot of times I'm able to go, no, I don't need it. But this color that Gail of Gail's Art has been dyeing for a couple of months. As soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted it. But
is it the graffiti one?
Huh?
Is it the graffiti one? I love that one.
So it's graffiti and asphalt. I got it on her Superwash BFL nylon base, and it was $27. And I love it. It makes me so happy.
It's very pretty.
And Gail of Gail's Art, if you haven't ever purchased anything from her, you totally should. She's a wonderful person.
She's super sweet. She's a good person. She is willing to share knowledge with other people, whether it be about breeds of sheep or
business
dyeing.
Or... She's just a sweet person, and we're very lucky to know her. And so when I bought that, she decided that there was something else in my shop or in her shop that she wanted me to try.
Cool.
And I've been smelling it since I got it earlier this week. And it is 4 ounces of pinstriped blending humbug with soft natural and dyed colors. It's $10 for 4 ounces. And look how beautiful it is.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And I have spun the humbug before, but not the blended like this. And it just drafts like a dream.
That is so pretty.
Isn't it beautiful? And it can like all the colors will blend together and just make this happy, beautiful, harmonious skein of hand spun.
It's gonna be awesome.
Oh man, and it's so soft, and there's just so many colors in there, and they're all natural colors.
That's
just
cool.
Blended.
What was the wool?
It's merino, I believe. Yeah, 100% merino.
Cool.
So it's just different colors. It says natural and dyed colors. I'm sorry. So there, a couple of the colors may be dyed, but the humbug is blended, the brown and white blended. But oh, gosh, it just makes me so happy, and it smells so good. So anyway, that's my Gail's Art. That's the only enabling that I think I've done in a while. And by a while, I mean a month. But,
I have some Kirby Warby that I got in the mail this week, but I'll show it to you all next week.
Is it the Grandpa suspender ones? Because
it's the rainbow one.
But is it the
it's not the Grandpa suspenders. It's the rainbow.
Because the Grandpa suspenders has rainbow in it. It's like gray.
But it's got gray in it too.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not. This is rainbow.
I want the gray one.
Okay.
I just haven't caught, like, her updates are so insane. Like,
yeah, they go fast.
So, anyway, what else do we have to talk about?
I was thrown a housewarming shower this week by my local knit group, which was so kind, and they are so sweet. And I got a lot of things that were on my wish list at Bed Bath & Beyond. So I wanted to thank them. I'm going to send them thank yous too, but they all watch the podcast, and they're super inspirational knitters, but they're also very dear friends.
So I know it's Eloise, who's Dingle Daisy. I know it's Gail, who's Gail R. I know it's Melissa, whose name I can't remember on Rav. Mm-hmm. And Emily, too, right?
Emily moved to Atlanta like 2 years ago.
Oh.
But there's other people in it, too.
Okay. Well, those are the people I remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, those are the people from when you were here. And then there's Lowell and some other people. So there's some great people. There?
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
See what you miss when you move? An awesome Wednesday night day group. Yes. That's awesome. There's definitely been some wonderful new people who have started attending, which is nice. It's nice to have new blood that comes in and just they're wonderful people too. They're very inspirational knitters as well. So that's always very cool and happiness. Another one is Irish Eyes 123199. I had to go look up her Rav name. She started coming from Tunica, so
cool.
Very cool. And that's Kelly. So
I think I met Kelly before I moved.
No, she just started coming. She joined the guilds back in July. Her husband works for Kmart, so they move quite a bit.
Thought I had met someone before I moved, but I couldn't remember their name. Anyway, we have a giveaway.
We do. We have the Volmiza. Yep. Which is a weird, different twin.
Let me pull up my random number thingamabob.
Let me pull up Ravelry.
Random.org. Where are you? There you are.
There are 326 entries. It was so much fun to read what all of you thought you would make out of this. It was very, very cool. And I apologize for getting it up late. I didn't have internet until Wednesday.
Yeah, and I didn't.
And we had snow days. So.
Because, like, for me, once the episode is loaded on the websites, my hands are washed of it. Like, I'm done. Also, I wanted to touch... Oh, I can do that in a minute. So, between 2 and, what was it? 326? Is that right?
Yep. That is correct.
So, generate number. It says it's number 296, which should be on 4812, page 12.
What's the number again?
296.
Okay. I was talking over you. I apologize.
It's okay.
That is Nini Knits, who has never used this yarn before. Yay! She just purchased Coop Knits and wants to knit all the socks. So that is very, very cool. And she's from the plains of eastern Colorado.
Cool. We know
so
some
very, very neat.
Colorado.
So Nini Knits, if you will send me Lala a PM with your address, I will try to get this out as soon as you do. I'm going to the post office on Tuesday, so
cool.
Because Monday's a holiday.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the next contest, I wanted to touch on iTunes distribution again. So, I've been going back and forth with Megan of Stocking at Zombies about using archive.org, which is a free site where you can upload any video and they'll host it for you. They're the owners of the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to make that work with WordPress, and I tried a couple of different plugins, and it's not cooperating. It's driving me a little bit crazy, I'm not going to lie. Apparently, it works a lot better with Blogger than it does with WordPress. So if you are a podcaster and you use Blogger, go check out Megan's blog, justrunnit.com. She's got a walkthrough. Right now we're still using Podcast Garden. I'm working on with iTunes to get the feed directed back to Podcast Garden. When it does get directed back, there's like 5 or 6 episodes out there, and once I see that it's directed back there, then I'll backload all the other ones. But I don't want to put a ton of work into it if it's not going to work. So if we have to, we'll do VideoPress Professional, but that's a much larger investment. Whereas Podcast Garden is only like $30 a year, which is easy. It's doable. It's fine. But whereas VideoPress, for what we would need, would be closer to like $300 a year. So we're trying to avoid the cost if we can. And of course, I'll tell y'all whatever we decide, because maybe it'll help the other podcasters in some way. Next contest. On to happy news. Our friend Ellie, Elsbeth81, has a shop, and it's Ellie's Knit Insanity, and she's on Etsy. And I'll link her in the show notes. Her Ravelry name again is Elspeth81, and this is her yarn. This is the Swiftwind inspired by She-Ra, which is 75% superwash BFL and 25% nylon, and it's so crazy bright. It makes me so happy.
Love it.
Yes. And I do love the little special details that she does, like the ribbon, and she does a little Shrinky Dink marker with each skein, which I think is wonderful. So I think that for this episode, I'd like for you to go out to her shop, which again I'll link in the show notes, and it's Ellie's Knit Insanity on Etsy. and just tell me what your favorite color is. If you don't see a color that you love on her active page, you can go into her sold items and look at all the stuff she sold before. And that'll give you an idea of sort of what she picks. And just tell us what your favorite thing is. And she also has a code for 10% off if you see something that you just love. And the code is TheKnitGirlls10.
Cool.
So TheKnitGirlls with 3 L's and then the number 10. You get 10% off. And then for this, just name your favorite color out of her shop. And it'll be 1 entry per person, must be a member of the group to win. We'll close the thread when we get ready to record next week. And thank you, Ellie, for sending us such beautiful stripy happiness. Well, I don't know that it's stripy.
Does it self-stripe or is it variegated?
No, I think it's variegated.
It looks variegated to me.
Self-striping, so I'm going to go with variegated.
It looks like it's short bursts of colors, which would mean variegated to me.
Right. I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
I want to just go over where you can find us for contests and other things. We have a super active Ravelry group, the Knit
We're
Girls.
Like 5,500 people.
Yeah,
Blows my mind.
And there's always something awesome going on, whether it's sharing videos of Sherlock on Sesame Street or other
Benedict
fun things.
Cumberbatch.
Yes.
That is the craziest name.
So there's always fun stuff going on there. You can find Leslie and I on Instagram. I'm Lala Knits there. And
You don't call me Les?
Yep. That's our primary source of social media, I guess would be the way of saying it.
Yes,
we're also...
and if you, I'm private on there, so if you friend me, make sure that you have like knitter or pictures of knitting or something so I know that who you are before I add you.
I'm private on there too, but I pretty much friend everyone or allow everyone access for the most part, unless I see that you're under 18, in which case I don't. We do have an awesome Facebook group that really takes care of itself, which is awesome because Leslie and I are not super active on Facebook, but you can find them on Facebook. Again, have knitting in your profile because when I add members, I try to eliminate most of the
spammers.
Yeah, I really try hard, but it's hard to
They're
try
sneaky,
to.
though.
They are pretty sneaky. So just let me know if I don't allow you access within like a week. Just send me a PM and say, "Hey, yo, let me into Facebook."
It's not because we don't want to. We just probably haven't been on Facebook.
Yeah.
Neither of us are very active there.
Well, it's blocked. All social media is blocked at my work, so
okay.
then I have to come home and do stuff, and I'm, lazy.
We're also on YouTube, and we've been on YouTube for ages. Blip auto distributes to YouTube. We will continue to use Blip as long as they will have us as far as hosting, because we get a tiny little bit back, and it helps cover postage and stuff like that.
And we have an awesome website.
Yes, TheKnitGirlls.com. So you can find us on YouTube. You can use Feedly or Downcast to get us. You can, if you have a Roku, you can watch us on the iTunes channel or the Blip channel. If you have Apple TV, you can watch us through iTunes on your TV. We're not hard to find. We're pretty
Hopefully
easy.
not. If you're watching this, hopefully you found us. But the Ravelry group is where we do all the contests and such.
Yes, because it's very transparent. You can see when somebody posted, when they responded. Yep. There's no questions. So anyway, I think that's about it. Is that it? Okay, good. Because I got some laundry and stuff I got to take care of.
I have to do laundry as well. Because I watched Fleece rather than doing laundry today.
Priorities, yo.
Yeah, seriously.
So you guys have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again next Sunday.
Bye, y'all.